Today on Inquirer, DOJ indicts 7 fratmen tagged in the death of Adamson University student John Matthew Salilig. A first in Balikatan, Filipino and American troops to sink a target vessel near Panatag Shoal in the West Philippine Sea during the military exercise next month. House Ethics Panel tackles Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr.'s expired travel authority and refusal to return to the Philippines. And face masks now optional at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Good evening. Prosecutors from the Department of Justice indict 7 members of the Tau Gamma Phi fraternity who were linked to the death of Adamson University student John Matthew Salilig. The fratmen are also being indicted for the injuries sustained by Roy Osmond de la Cruz, a neophyte who was also purportedly subjected to the fraternity hazing. The 7 will be facing cases for violation of the Anti-Hazing Act of 2018 before the Regional Trial Court of Binyan City in Laguna. 2 more complaints have been filed by several fratmen against their Tau Gamma Phi brothers, but the DOJ prosecutors have yet to conduct a preliminary investigation on them. The House of Representatives Ethics Panel holds an inquiry on Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr.'s refusal to return to work following the expiration of his travel authority on March 9. For the details, here's our House reporter, Gabriel Lalu, reporting live. Gab, what resolution did the lawmakers end up with regarding this case?
Well, after the meeting earlier, the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges will give Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. 5 more days to explain why he has not returned from his medical trip abroad and why he has not reported to work despite his already lapsed travel authority. This is according to Committee Chair and Co-op NATO Party List Representative Filimon Espares, who said that they will send a letter to Teves this week to inquire why he has not returned from his United States trip. Should Teves fail to give his response, Espares said that they will still give him ample time to reply, as he vowed that they would exercise due process on this matter. Teves was accused by a Special Investigation Task Group of being behind the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. He has not returned to the country despite his travel authority expiring last March 9. As of now, the lawmaker has denied any involvement in the said incident.
Gab, what does Speaker Romualdez have to say about this? Because he was the one who approved essentially the travel authority of Congressman Teves.
Well, the Speaker has been adamant that he wants Congressman Teves to return home to face accusations heard at him. Initially, he said that he wants Teves to come home, and then yesterday, Speaker Romualdez confirmed that he was able to talk with Congressman Teves, where he reiterated his request for the lawmaker to come home, assuring him that he would be given security once he comes home from the United States.
Then, Gab, maybe the question here is what would happen if Congressman Teves does not comply with the request of the House of Representatives? Because after all, he still has duties to comply with the people he is serving in his district.
Yes. Yes, earlier, Congressman Espares said that they would give him ample time to respond. But the possible repercussions in such cases where lawmakers do not attend to their duties, way past the travel authority, there is a chance that the lawmaker would be suspended or even worse, expelled from the list of lawmakers in the 19th Congress.
Thanks, Gab. That's Gabriel Lalu reporting live. Wearing a face mask at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport is now optional. In an advisory, the Manila International Airport Authority says that the move to make the use of face mask optional is in accordance to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s Executive Order No. 7, which allowed the voluntary use of face masks in indoor and outdoor settings. The MIAA, however, stresses that face masks are still required to be worn inside the aircraft and airside passenger vehicles. To recall, the Department of Tourism has eased up its COVID-19 health directives in tourism and establishments by no longer requiring the wearing of face masks and vaccination cards. Next on Inquirer Today. Cameraman in Negros Oriental narrowly escapes death on the day Governor Roel Degamo was killed. Senators grill PDEA chief for not going after informants who asked for 30% of seized drugs as reward. And Filipino and American troops to sink a target vessel near Panatag Shoal in the West Philippine Sea during the military exercise next month. This Inquirer Today will be back shortly.
1, 2, 3.
A giant camera?
I'm Jovel Lorenzo. I'm a professional photographer. I'm 52 years old. Gumagamit ako ng street box camera. Nagkasayaw ako, hot legs ako before. Tapos, nagdumami ng mga shows namin. Tapos, one time, sa sobrang hilig ko sa sayaw talaga, nagkasakit ako. Nag-mild stroke ako.
In order for Jovel to recover, he was prohibited from dancing for a year until a new opportunity presented itself.
Buti lang, medyo bata-bata pa ako noong time na yun. So, nakarecover naman ako. Pero nung na-stroke ako, hindi ako pwede magsayaw ng 1 year. So, pinag-aral ako ng isang kapatid ko na sabi ko, Jubel, may nagkaklase ng photography sa Mowel Fund. Sumasama ako doon sa Hotlegs pare, pero hindi ako nagsasayaw, nanonood lang ako ng shows nila. Habang nanonood ako shows nila, practice ako ng photography. Sinushoot ko sila, yung mga guests nila, sinushoot ko, tapos yun ang pambayad ko ng film. Yun ang ginagawa ko para matuto ako ma-practice ko yung photography ko. Yun, tapos tuloy-tuloy na yun. Hanggang sa naging magazine photographer na ako, nagkasayaw pa rin, tapos magazine, tapos hanggang sa nawala na yung sayaw, nagmamagazine na talaga. Naging photographer na ako full-time. Until now, nag-shoot pa rin ako sa magazine hanggang ngayon.
When the pandemic hit in 2020, Jovel got into box cameras.
Ngayon ko lang nalaman yung street box camera, kung paano siya gamitin. So nakita ko lang siya sa website or sa YouTube. Habang nanonood ako, nakita ko lang siya. So parang na-interesado ako kung paano nila ginagawa. Parang, maganda. Parang maganda yung process kung paano nila ginagawa yung image. During that time, pandemic naman, yung time na yun. So, wala kang ginagawa. Try akong gumawa ng camera nang nakita ko sa net. So, parang, okay to parang bago. Kasi hindi ko pa ginagawa. Unti-unti ko siya nagawa. Nagawa ko yung box with all of the yung mga component niya, yung basa-basa. Inartehan ko pa, ilalabas ko yung picture sa gilid para mas para ganun. Parang inisip ko na yung ginawa ko doon, inisip ko na pwedeng i-offer pag nawala na yung pandemic. Pwede ko i-offer sa tao para may trabaho pa ako.
Jovel went to Batangas during the height of the pandemic and thought of a way to practice using his box camera. He started to work on his project called the 14-Day Quarantine Series, where he would take portraits of people in their everyday lives using his box camera. The street box camera was invented in 1888 and was widely used after the First World War. Compared to digital cameras we use nowadays, the process of taking a photo on a street box camera is quite different.
Kuha ng box, diba? Box. Ginagawa ko una, yung sitters, paupuin ko ng komportable, kailangan komportable sila. Kasi hindi sila gagalaw ng ilang seconds eh. Kasi pag nagbago sila ng pwesto, wala ka na. Hindi naman sila makukuha ng maayos. Hindi, pag nakaupo na sila komportable, pupunta na ako sa likod ng camera. Ayusin ko na yung frame. I-focus mo na. Pag lock mo ganon, isasara ko na yung pinto, i-close ko na yung lente, kasi nga open pa ako nun. Tapos ipapasok ko na yung kamay ko sa loob, kuha ko ng papel, ilagay ko sa loob, isasara ko, babalik ko sa focus. Tapos pupunta ko sa unahan, eto na, kukuha na kita. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1001. Pak. Kuha na yun siya.
Minutes after taking a photo, you will be able to see what it looks like. The initial output is a negative photo processed with chemicals right inside the camera. The negative is then brought to a dark room for Jovel to develop into a positive image.
Nagustuhan naman ng mga tao. Gustuhan nila yung, dati parang hindi na alam kung paano nga kung ginagawa yung mga bagay-bagay. Doon sila na nababother ko, paano po ginawa? Kasi nga ang film, disiplina talaga yon. Pagka nag-shoot ka, kailangan perfect na talaga yung framing mo. Kailangan eksakto na, eksakto sa requirements ng gagamit. Kailangan ang pag-aaral lang sa mga bata na gustong yung ginagawa ko. Pag-aaralan nila, unti-unti, huwag sila jump ng jump na. Babasahin mo rin yung paggalaw ng tao, parang ganun. Kung anong ngiti nila, kung saan sila maganda, parang ganun. Titingnan mo pa rin. Kung saan sila maganda, doon mo sila activity-kan. Ang discipline ng ginagawa ko sa akin sarili, isa camera pa lang, i-perfect mo na.
A cameraman for a local cable television station in Negros Oriental narrowly escapes death on the day Governor Degamo was killed. According to an Inquirer report, cameraman Reynaldo Butch Tepase was supposed to meet with Degamo on March 4 for their recording of a weekly show of the governor. The report states that Tepase was smoking by his parked motorcycle some 15 meters away from the compound's gate when he saw 3 vehicles arrive. He then saw several people in military uniform, all armed with high-powered assault rifles, get off the vehicles and enter the compound. Sound of gunfire then rang out inside the compound. Tepase was quoted as saying in the report. He then found himself inside a drainage canal near where he parked his motorcycle. Tepase said he saw the vehicles leaving in haste after the gunmen shot a volley of fire into the air while the sound of crying and screaming could be heard from inside the compound. Senators grilled the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency chief for not going after the informants who told him about their custom of receiving 30% of the seized drugs in its operations as a reward. PDEA Director General Virgilio Moro Lazo had previously said he personally spoke to some of the tipsters who asked for 30% of the actual seizures as payment. During the Senate Public Order and Dangerous Drugs panel hearing, Senator Rafi Tulfo prodded Lazo if he at least asked who from the PDEA was involved in offering drugs as a reward for tipsters. But Lazo responded that he was unable to. Tulfo raised doubts about why Lazo failed to ask such a simple question.
At buti lang hindi ka pumayag. Ang pagkakamali mo lang, nandoon ka na. Rap mo na siya, face to face. Hindi mo lang tinanong, oy, or I don't know kung paano mo tawagin para hindi naman matakot. Pwede mo bang malaman? Yun yung laruin, di ba, Mr. Chair? Okay yan, pero teka muna. Sino bang may umpisa ng kalakaran na yan? Para malaman ko, baka naman pwede kong tawaran yan. Di ba para huli-huliin lang?
In the same hearing, the Senate panel cites in contempt 2 operatives of the Philippine National Police. The officers had denied being caught on a CCTV camera carrying 42 kilos of illegal drugs, which were declared missing. Meanwhile, Tulfo is proposing a limited tour of duty for agents of PDEA and the PNP to avoid familiarity that may lead to possible collusion with drug syndicates.
Dapat PNP and PDEA, ililimit niyo po yung tour of duty. Kasi nga po, kung halimbawa yung isang PDEA agent o police operative, ilalagay mo dyan sa isang lugar na drug and tested. Pagtagalin mo dyan, babad siya hanggang 10 years. Later on, magiging drug pusher na rin po yan. Because of familiarity.
A military official says Filipino and American troops will sink a target vessel near Panatag Shoal in the West Philippine Sea, where the 2 allies carry out their largest joint military exercise to date next month. Balikatan spokesperson Colonel Michael Logico tells the Inquirer that the anticipated sinking exercise of an old fishing vessel will be held some 22 kilometers off Zambales, or about 185 kilometers from Panatag Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. He said the exercise would be conducted by the Philippines and the United States for the first time, as the forthcoming drills focus on maritime defense, coastal defense, and maritime domain awareness. Logico adds that the U.S. Army will also hold its first Patriot missile air defense exercise in the country as part of a coastal defense live-fire exercise. Former Philippine Navy Vice Commander Romel Jude Ong tells the Inquirer that this Balikatan may be to test operational concepts to enhance the armed forces of the Philippines strategies in the West Philippine Sea. The annual joint military exercises of the Philippines and the United States will run from April 11 to April 28 with 17,600 troops participating from both countries. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Irvin Santiago ng Bandera. Irvin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Walang bitterness at okay na raw ngayon ang buhay ng singer-songwriter na si Jason Marvin Hernandez makalipas ang ilang buwan mula nang magkahiwalay sila ng kanyang asawang si Moira de la Torre. Aminado naman si Jason na nagkamali at nasaktan niya si Moira at pinagsisisihan na raw niya ito. Sa katunayan, tinatanggap lang niya ang mga patutsyada sa kanya ng dating asawa dahil knows nga niya na siya ang may kasalanan. Ibinalita ni Jason na 7 buwan na rin siyang naninirahan ngayon sa El Nido, Palawan at nakapagpundar na rin doon ng maliit na business. Bumabalik na lang daw siya dito sa Maynila kapag may trabaho tulad ng pagkanta niya sa theme song ng teleserye ni Ruru Madrid at Bianca Umali na The Right One. Hindi pa rin daw sila nag-uusap ni Moira mula nang maghiwalay sila. At dininay din ng singer na may dinedate na siya ngayong ibang babae.
Okay naman, like sobrang, I live in El Nido right now. Pumunta ako doon, dapat vacation lang. Now I'm staying there for the last 7 months. Oh, I just go here kapag may event, kapag may shows, gano'n. Kapag may recording. Pero doon ko na-realize na you don't need a lot of things pala para maging masaya.
Hindi pa kayo nag-uusap? Hindi, respect.
Pero it's it's like, ako wala akong, like, it's all good on my side. Like, I'm good. Walang bitterness, walang ano. Actually, pero gets ko naman. Nasasaktan ko.
Pero you can say Jason na nakamove on ka na or nasa process ka pa rin moving on?
I think emotionally, I'm okay na eh. Siyempre, sa simula masakit pero I'm okay na.
Pero you're not dating anyone? You're not dating pa anyone?
Ay, wala.
Mga ganun.
Wala pang ganun. At yan ang Bandera Chika natin today. Thanks, Neil.
Maraming salamat, Irvin. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Catch Inquirer Today live weekdays at 6 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.